You know, when I say I want to marry you, it's not just about standing at an altar or signing a piece of paper. It's not even about the celebration or the applause. What I mean goes deeper than all of that. I'm talking about a decision, a conscious, deliberate choice to build something that lasts beyond moments, beyond trends, beyond what most people think of as love. I want to build a life system with you, a framework where both of us can grow, evolve, and still remain completely ourselves. When I say I want to marry you, I'm not talking about ownership. I'm talking about partnership. Two independent people, both strong and capable, deciding to merge their trajectories, not out of need, but out of vision. Because you can build a company, you can build a city, you can even build a rocket. But building a relationship that lasts requires the same intensity of purpose, the same resilience in failure, and the same relentless optimism that tomorrow can always be better than today. Marriage to me is like co-founding the most important startup of your life. It's the ultimate joint venture. The mission? To build something that doesn't just survive the turbulence, but actually gets stronger because of it. You learn how to fail fast and forgive faster. You learn that communication isn't about talking, it's about understanding. You learn that sometimes you'll be the engine, and sometimes you'll be the wing, but you're both part of the same flight. And love, real love, is not a product of perfection. It's a product of persistence. It's not found in the big gestures or the perfect timing. It's built in the small, unremarkable moments. The coffee before sunrise, the quiet reassurance after a long day, the simple text that says, "I'm here." When I say, "I want to marry you," I'm saying I want to be there in all those moments. Not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard, when it's uncertain, when the data doesn't add up, and all you have is belief. See, people often think of marriage as a destination, that once you get there, you've made it. But it's not a finish line. It's a launch pad. It's the start of a long, unpredictable, thrilling journey. It's the beginning of building a future that's greater than the sum of our individual dreams. And I want to build that with you not because I have to, but because I choose to. Because every version of my future that feels worth living in has you in it. When I think about marriage, I think about creating an ecosystem where we both thrive, where our ambitions don't compete, but complement each other, where we can challenge one another without tearing each other down, where we can be both vulnerable and strong at the same time. I want us to have the kind of relationship that's not afraid to question, to experiment, to push the boundaries of what love can look like in the real world. And yes, it's going to be messy sometimes. There will be friction. But friction is what creates movement. It's what allows rockets to lift off, what makes ideas take shape, and what helps people grow. So when I say I want to marry you, I'm saying I'm ready for all of it. The beauty, the chaos, the failures, the rebuilding. I'm not afraid of the gravity. I'm ready to defy it with you. Because ultimately, marriage is not about finding someone you can live with. It's about finding someone you can't imagine living without someone whose presence turns ordinary life into something extraordinary. It's about building something that endures, not just in time, but in purpose. So when I say, I want to marry you, I'm not just talking about love in its comfortable form. I'm talking about the kind of love that innovates, that adapts, that pushes boundaries, the kind of love that becomes a legacy. And that's why I want to marry you, because with you, I don't just see a future, I see a universe waiting to be built. When I look back at the journey that brought us here, it's almost hard to believe how all the pieces fit together. It wasn't random, even if it felt that way at the time. There's a kind of quiet order in the chaos of the universe, aligning small decisions, coincidences, and mischances until somehow two separate paths intersect at exactly the right moment. You and I didn't just meet by luck. We met because we were both moving towards something bigger than ourselves. It didn't start with fireworks. It started with curiosity, that spark of recognition when you meet someone and realize they see the world just a little differently, in a way that makes you want to understand more. We began as two explorers, orbiting the same idea of possibility. And slowly, that curiosity turned into connection. We started learning each other's rhythms, decoding each other's silences, building something that didn't need to be labeled yet to be felt. It wasn't always smooth. No meaningful journey ever is. We've had moments where distance crept in, where timing failed us, where the weight of our ambitions tested our patience. But those challenges weren't setbacks. They were recalibrations. They reminded us what really matters, that love isn't measured by perfection, but by resilience. Every obstacle we faced taught us how to communicate better, how to listen with empathy, how to keep choosing each other even when the world got noisy. Looking back, I can see how every experience, even the hard ones, shaped the foundation we stand on now. The late nights filled with endless talks about the future, the quiet drives when words weren't needed, the laughter that came from nowhere, yet seemed to reset everything. Each of those moments, in their own way, built momentum, propelling us from something simple into something unshakably real. There's a kind of beauty and growth that happens together. When you evolve beside someone, your timelines start to synchronize. You don't just share space, you share velocity. You start to understand that love isn't static, it's dynamic. It requires constant calibration, constant reinvention. And through all of it, we didn't just grow as individuals. We grew as a unit, a small team, with big ambitions, building something that isn't visible, but deeply felt. What's interesting is that most people think relationships are about finding balance, like it's some static equilibrium you reach and then everything just stays there. But in reality, balance is active. It's movement. It's the constant dance of giving and receiving, of knowing when to lead and when to follow. And somehow, through all the chaos, we found our rhythm. We found a way to stay connected even when life demanded more from us than we thought we could give. And in those moments when things got hard, when exhaustion, distance, or uncertainty showed up, something incredible happened. We didn't give up. We adapted. We learned how to communicate better, how to simplify, how to focus on what truly mattered. That's the thing about building something meaningful. It's never about avoiding the hard parts. It's about using them as fuel to get stronger. I've come to realize that every relationship has defining moments, turning points that shift everything. For us, it wasn't one grand event. It was a series of small, quiet choices that added up. Choosing to listen instead of react. Choosing to stay instead of walk away. Choosing to believe that what we were building was worth the effort. Each of those choices brought us closer to this point standing here now, not by accident, but by intention. It's easy to look at where we are and forget how far we've come. But the truth is, every step, every challenge, every late-night conversation was part of a larger equation. All those data points added up to one clear result. We're better, together, stronger, smarter, more complete. And that's why this moment matters. Because it's not just the next step, it's the culmination of every step before it. The journey that led us here wasn't perfect, but it was ours. And it proves something powerful, that when two people move forward with honesty, patience, and belief, they can turn uncertainty into purpose and love into legacy. So, as I stand here now, looking at you, I don't just see where we've been, I see where we're going. Because this right here isn't the end of our journey. It's the beginning of everything we were always meant to build together. Marriage to me isn't a static concept. It's not a social contract or a checklist item to complete. It's more like an evolving system, a fusion of emotion, logic, and purpose that keeps reinventing itself as life changes. When I think about what marriage means to us, I don't imagine something confined by tradition or routine. I see a living, breathing collaboration, a partnership where both people are fully invested in building something that pushes the boundaries of what love, commitment, and growth can look like in the real world. For me, marriage is the highest form of teamwork. It's two individuals coming together, not because they need to, but because they choose to. It's not about dependency. It's about synergy, where 1 + 1 equals more than 2. It's about creating a shared gravitational pull strong enough to keep both of us grounded when life gets chaotic, but also powerful enough to launch us toward bigger dreams. It's this balance between stability and exploration that makes it so extraordinary. What makes marriage fascinating is that it's both deeply human and deeply futuristic. It's the ultimate test of empathy, communication, and resilience qualities that define not just good relationships, but great civilizations. When you're building something lasting with someone, you learn the same principles that apply to any form of innovation. Iterate, improve, adapt. You learn that failure is not the end, it's feedback. And when love is built on that mindset, it becomes unstoppable. Marriage, to me, is not about losing your individuality. It's about expanding it. It's about having someone who challenges you to become a better version of yourself without trying to rewrite who you are. It's a mirror that reflects both your brilliance and your blind spots. And if you're open to learning, it becomes one of the most transformative experiences of your life. I don't want a marriage where we stand still. I want one that evolves as we do. I think of it like this. Marriage is an ongoing mission. It's not about reaching some final destination where everything is perfect. It's about the process of constant refinement, of learning to communicate better, to listen deeper, to see each other not just as we are now, but as we're becoming. It's about building a future that's flexible enough to handle change, yet rooted enough to survive storms. And love, in this context, is the energy source. It's what fuels the mission. But it's not just a feeling, it's a discipline. It's waking up every day and making the choice to stay committed even when it's inconvenient or difficult. It's the willingness to keep showing up, to keep trying, to keep building even when progress feels slow. Because marriage isn't just about finding someone who makes life easier, it's about finding someone who makes life meaningful. In marriage, I see the potential for a kind of shared innovation where two people experiment with trust, empathy, and growth, constantly improving the system of us. It's where you learn to be both strong and soft, ambitious yet humble. It's where love stops being an abstract word and becomes a set of consistent actions. And the beauty of it is that it's not always predictable. There will be days that feel effortless and days that feel impossible. But that's the point. The challenge is what makes it real. I want our marriage to be a space where we can both dream fearlessly, fail safely, and love relentlessly. A place where we can debate ideas, challenge assumptions, and still end the night holding hands. I want it to be a partnership where we lift each other, not just emotionally, but intellectually and spiritually, where our shared purpose becomes the force that propels us forward. So, when I think about what marriage means to me, it's this. It's the ultimate expression of possibility. It's the belief that two people, by joining forces, can create something greater than either could alone. It's not just about love in the romantic sense. It's about love as a strategy for growth, for creation, for life itself. Because in the end, marriage isn't just about finding the right person. It's about becoming the right partner over and over again. And if we can do that, if we can keep choosing each other with that same energy and intention, then what we're building won't just last a lifetime, it will transcend it. When I ask myself, why you out of everyone in the world, why you are the person I want to stand beside for the rest of my life, the answer doesn't come in one clear, perfect sentence. It comes in moments. It comes in the way you think, the way you feel, the way you make me want to be sharper, calmer, braver. It's not just who you are, it's what happens to the world when you're in it. You have this rare combination of intelligence and empathy that's almost magnetic. You don't just understand ideas, you understand people. You can sit with complexity without needing to fix it. And somehow, that steadiness pulls me in every time. You make chaos feel navigable. When everything feels like it's spinning too fast, you're the gravity that keeps it all from flying apart. There's a precision in the way you care. It's not dramatic. It's intentional. Every word, every gesture carries purpose. That's a kind of genius most people overlook. I've met brilliant minds before, but brilliance alone can be cold. It's rare to find someone whose intellect is matched by warmth. You have both. You can think in systems and still feel in detail. You can see the big picture, but never lose sight of the small moments that make it meaningful. That balance, that harmony between reason and compassion is what makes you extraordinary. You remind me that true strength isn't loud. It's consistent. It's steady. It's kind. You challenge me, and I love that. You don't let me get comfortable with half-formed thoughts or easy answers. You ask questions that make me think deeper, see clearer, and sometimes rethink everything I thought I knew. And you do it not to compete, but to connect. That's rare. That's what partnership should feel like, not about winning arguments, but about expanding each other's understanding of what's possible. There's also something else, something quieter, but even more powerful. You have this instinct to believe in me when I start to doubt myself. You don't try to fix me, you just remind me of who I am. You have this way of cutting through the noise and saying exactly what I need to hear, even when I didn't know I needed to hear it. That kind of clarity isn't something you can teach. It comes from love, and it comes from knowing someone at a level beyond words. What I admire most about you is your courage. You have a calm, grounded kind of bravery, the kind that doesn't need an audience. You take on life with both logic and heart. You face uncertainty without letting fear dictate the outcome. You make decisions with integrity, even when no one's watching. And that's the kind of person I want to build a life with, someone who stands strong, not because it's easy, but because it's right. And then there's your curiosity. You never stop learning. You approach the world with this open-minded energy, this hunger to understand how things work, not just machines or systems, but people, ideas, the future. That curiosity makes life with you feel limitless. Every day is a conversation that could lead anywhere. Every moment feels like discovery. You don't just live in the world, you expand it. But beyond all the words and reasons, there's something I can't fully explain, something that exists beyond logic. It's in the way time changes when I'm with you. The way ordinary days become vivid, how silence feels full, how the world seems slightly more aligned when you're near. That's not just chemistry, it's connection. It's two frequencies matching perfectly, creating something that feels both inevitable and infinite. So when I say I want to marry you, it's not because I can list the reasons why, though there are many. It's because somehow, with you, everything that once felt theoretical suddenly makes sense. Love, purpose, balance, they all converge. You don't complete me, you amplify me. You make everything more meaningful, more focused, more alive. And that's why because in a universe of billions, you are the one constant that makes everything else make sense. When I talk about the promise I'm making to you, I want it to be clear that it's not built on the idea of perfection. It's not a fairy tale or a flawless equation where everything fits neatly and nothing ever breaks. Life doesn't work that way, and honestly, I wouldn't want it to. What makes this promise real is that it's grounded in truth, in effort, and in the willingness to keep showing up, no matter what the data looks like on any given day. This is not a contract written in comfort. It's a commitment written in courage. I promise to never stop choosing you, not just when things are easy, but especially when they're not. Because love isn't just an emotion, it's a decision. It's the daily act of saying, yes, I'm in, even when the world is noisy, when exhaustion hits, when everything feels uncertain. I promise to keep that yes alive, to protect it, nurture it, and strengthen it, so that no matter what happens outside of us, what's inside us remains unbreakable. I promise to build with you. Not just a home, not just a life, but a shared mission. I want our relationship to be a place where ideas grow as much as affection does, where we can design, create, experiment, and fail forward together. I promise to encourage your vision, to stand beside your dreams even when they intimidate me, and to give you the space and freedom to chase them with everything you've got. Because love without room to dream isn't love, it's limitation. And I never want us to limit each other. I promise to listen not just to your words, but to your pauses, your tone, your energy, to really hear you, even when what you're saying isn't easy to hear. I'll make mistakes, no doubt, but I promise to keep learning the language of your heart, to stay curious about who you are and who you're becoming, because you're not static, you'll keep evolving. And my promise is to evolve with you, to never assume I've fully figured you out, but to keep rediscovering you every day. I promise to bring honesty, the kind that's sometimes uncomfortable, but always necessary. I'll tell you the truth even when it's hard, because that's how trust stays alive. I promise not to hide behind pride or ego when I'm wrong, but to admit it, own it, and fix it. I know that being right isn't as important as being real. I'd rather have an honest disagreement with you than a silent distance that grows from avoidance. Because honesty, even when it's imperfect, keeps us connected. I promise to protect our peace. The world is chaotic. There's always noise, always distraction. But I want what we build together to be a refuge, not a battlefield. I promise to defend that space, not with walls, but with intention. I'll do my best to create balance between the external demands of the world and the internal sanctuary we share. I won't let ambition consume the moments that matter most. I promise to be present not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to put down the phone, to look you in the eyes, to remember that time is the most valuable resource we have, and that you deserve the best of mine. I promise to respect your independence, You are your own person, strong, capable, brilliant, and I don't want to change that. I want to celebrate it. I'll never ask you to shrink to make me feel bigger. I'll never compete with you. I'll collaborate with you. I promise to support your individuality while still nurturing our unity, because love should amplify two voices, not merge them into one. I promise to stay curious about us, to keep exploring, questioning, improving, and innovating the way we love. Relationships can stagnate when people stop learning from each other. I never want that for us. I want us to keep testing the limits of what connection can be, to push it forward, to redefine it, to make it something that not only survives time, but inspires it. And when the inevitable rough days come, when misunderstandings happen, when we're tired, when things break, I promise to repair, not retreat. To stay when it would be easier to walk away. To remember that failure isn't fatal when you keep showing up. I'll bring patience when you bring chaos. I'll bring humor when you bring exhaustion. I'll bring grace when we both run out of words. I promise to love you not for what you do, but for who you are. To see you in all your complexity, your brilliance and your flaws, your confidence and your uncertainty, and still say, you're enough. I promise to never stop seeing you, really seeing you, even when the years pass and the world changes. And above all, I promise this, to make our love a living, breathing force. Something that adapts, evolves, and never stops growing. Because love isn't meant to be static, it's meant to expand, to challenge, to build, to endure. So this is my promise, not a guarantee of perfection, but a vow of persistence. I can't promise that every day will be easy, but I can promise that every day will be ours. And no matter what the future holds, I'll keep choosing you again and again in every universe where choice exists. When I think about our future together, I don't see it as a straight line. I see it as an ever-expanding horizon full of unknowns, possibilities, and discoveries we haven't even imagined yet. And that's what excites me. Because the beauty of building a life with you is that it's not about predicting everything that's going to happen. It's about creating a foundation strong enough to face anything that does happen. I imagine our future not as a series of perfect moments, but as a dynamic journey, one where we keep adapting, keep learning, and keep choosing each other, no matter what new challenges or opportunities appear. There will be times when life feels like it's moving faster than we can keep up, and there will be times when it feels still and quiet. Both are valuable. Both are part of the rhythm we'll build together. I want our life to feel like motion with meaning, not constant chaos, but steady exploration. I picture us working on projects that don't just occupy our time, but fulfill our purpose. I see us creating, whether it's a home, a family, a company, or an idea that changes someone's world. I want us to keep questioning, keep inventing, keep trying new things, even if they fail sometimes, because failure, when shared, becomes wisdom. It becomes part of the story. I don't want a safe life with you, I want a significant one. I want us to build something that outlasts both of us. And when we think about the future, I know it won't all be grand gestures or monumental achievements. Some of the most meaningful parts of what lies ahead will be in the small details, morning routines, late-night talks, inside jokes, the simple joy of being completely understood by another person. Those quiet, ordinary moments will be the architecture of our happiness. They'll be what anchors us when the world gets loud. There will be seasons of change. We'll grow, we'll evolve, we'll outgrow versions of ourselves that no longer fit. And that's a good thing, because growth means movement, and movement means life. My promise for the future is that I'll never resist your evolution. I'll encourage it. I want you to become more of who you are meant to be, and I'll do the same. Our relationship should never be a container that restricts growth. It should be the launchpad that supports it. I want us to be the kind of partners who push each other toward greatness, not through pressure but through belief. The kind of team that can look at the unknown and say, let's figure it out. I want us to travel the world, explore new ideas, take risks that scare us, and then come home to the comfort of something that feels timeless. I want us to keep building, not just things that can be seen, but values that can be felt. Resilience, curiosity, empathy, innovation. And when the years pass, I want to look back and see that our story wasn't one of just survival, but expansion. That we didn't play small with our time. That we really used it to create a life that mattered. I want to build a family, not just in the traditional sense, but a community of people whose lives we've touched by being who we are together. There will be challenges, of course. There always are. There will be days when we question everything, when fatigue or fear or frustration clouds the view. But I believe those moments won't define us. How we respond to them will. We'll keep learning how to repair instead of retreat. We'll build systems for love the way others build systems for innovation, with precision, with creativity, with long-term vision. And when the world changes, because it will, we'll change with it. We'll adapt our dreams, reimagine our goals, and continue to evolve together. I don't ever want us to be static. I want us to be dynamic, a relationship in motion, constantly orbiting around shared purpose and deep respect. I see our future as something luminous, not because it's flawless, but because it's full of intention, because it's driven by curiosity and powered by love, because it's built on the foundation we've already created: trust, honesty, and the courage to keep building, no matter what. And someday, when we look back on the decades behind us, on all the things we've built, all the adventures we've had, all the moments that didn't go as planned but somehow still led us forward, I want us to be able to say one thing with complete certainty. We didn't just live together, we created together. We designed a life that reflected who we truly were, and we never stopped learning how to love better. Because, in the end, our future isn't waiting for us, it's something we'll invent, side by side. And if there's one thing I know for sure, it's this: with you, every tomorrow is worth building.